Okay, so next we need to actually go through the content. What are we actually going to post on our page? So on our account, we first need to address the fact of blank profiles. So if your account is brand new, you want to make sure that you actually fill it up with 9 pictures, because as you can see, this is a screenshot here of just a random profile that I found on the Explore page. Girl here, she has, well, of course, 200 plus posts, but you see here how it looks complete just because she has 9 posts. Even if she only had 9, it would still look like a complete profile. A couple of notes of things that she's doing before we get into the rest of the video here. She's posting all of the same style. Do you notice how it's all basically her? I mean, a lot of the photos kind of follow a pretty, like, there's only one selfie of her actually taking her own selfie, but all the rest are like someone taking her and she being center in the photo. I mean, content is consistent, because if you're posting different types of content all the time, you're going to make some of your followers sick of you because they only want to see a certain type of content. So if you really specialize and polarize your content or your followers so that they only follow, you only get people who want to follow you for one thing, and that one thing is all you post, you can attract, 14,000 followers, being an absolute nobody, but a girl who just, posts on Instagram. So some other things, I mean, we can look at the bio, we can look at, you're going to add a URL too for yours, you're going to add all sorts of stuff, but we're focusing on the content here. So posting frequency is the next thing to address. So anyone who really says, I mean, I hear it all the time. I've listened to a number of podcasts. Again, I mentioned this already, and I went through a number of courses, and people always say you need to be posting 3 times a day. Well, not necessarily. It depends who your target market is, and depends on how long your account is, and you really got to split test is really the big answer. Before I even get into some of these specifics here, you should be posting 1 time a day. Okay, how many followers did we gain today? Okay, we gained 200 followers. 2 times a day, how many did we gain? Okay, 300. Okay, 5 times a day, how many did we gain? Only 200. Okay, well, maybe 3 times a day is the best. You know what I mean? Just test and track for a week and see exactly how it goes. Okay, so as I was saying, don't listen to any certain specific answer. Founder Magazine, for example, they post 9 times a day. You check them out. I listened to a podcast with them. 1.1 million followers. I mean, this is how I found out about their Instagram. They grew mainly off of Instagram, and 1.1 million followers. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. They grew an audience from scratch, organic posts, 5,700 posts, regular posts, 9 per day over the course of, 2015, I think they started. So just do your math on that, depending on when you're watching this video. Excuse me. So that's pretty impressive. But 9 times a day. I mean, that's on the high end. So I mean, I'm not saying don't do 9 times a day. Personally, I don't for all my businesses, but it might work. So test it. Okay. Next up, I find that you're likely going, like, I'll explain how my businesses go, but it doesn't mean it's gonna be the same in your business. So you can post a lot at the start just to get the wheel turning, get some fast growth in there. But as soon as you get a bunch of followers, you don't want to really make them upset by filling their feed up. Okay, because people get sick of that. Like what's the problem with Facebook right now? Well, everybody shares too much crap, and you don't see what your friends are doing anymore. That's exactly why they're on Instagram now. I go on Instagram because I actually see, it's a Friday night right now. Okay, tomorrow morning I'll go on Instagram and I'll see where my friends were Friday night. I see what everybody's doing. I can connect with other people. On Facebook, that just doesn't happen. People post like cat videos and stuff, and they share way too much stuff that I don't want to see. So that's why I don't go on Facebook. So what that means is that people go on Instagram, for example, to see content on their friends and stuff. They go on there, we love it, funny videos and funny images, etc. But we get sick of it. There's a certain point of it where it's like, okay, this is too much. I'm actually just trying to see where everybody was last night and that kind of stuff. Like, people go on there to actually connect. So you're going to find, I think, there's a point where posting too much actually happens and people like unfollow you, complain, comment about it, etc. But I don't think that's going to be a worry in the start. So go ahead and do as much as you want. And I know some guys who on the local level here in Toronto who have done great posting every 2 to 3 days. I think 3 days is what they were doing. And then if you look at college, I love analyzing college girls on their social media, especially Instagram only. Really, I mean, you watch crazy growth. Just based on they post the same strategies. They all do this. It's just a blueprint that they kind of follow, and I love studying it. But a lot of them post daily, once a day or twice a day, or excuse me, never twice a day usually, but once every 1 or 2 or 3 days. Okay. So again, celebrities also similar. I think Kim Kardashian would post I think once every day or two. So that's that. As it like that's just a good note. I love studying from other people, especially the young audience, celebrities, etc., because usually they have the answers. So if you can break down what they're actually doing, you're gonna be golden. So where to get the content? Another case by case example. So if you're a consumer brand, you can send out products, you can find tags, you can just look at hashtags for your brand, find people that are posting photos of your product, depending on how big of a company you are. I'm addressing a wide audience here. I have people who have massive household brands watching this video, and they work in a corporation. I have someone here also trying to get started with a small Shopify store who has absolutely no followers at all. So if you already have a brand set up, you can go ahead and just start looking at accounts that are posting about you already. And if you're just starting and you have money, you can give out free products in exchange for getting posts, and then you can repost those photos on your account, etc. But that's kind of skipping ahead into influencer marketing. You can get content through influencer marketing, which is cool. But just since we're on the topic, I just want to note when you're handpicking these people. And if it's for content mainly, you're not going to be really doing that advance of research on influencers, which is what most of the video is about, or most of the videos will be about. You can actually, the main thing you're going to be looking at right now, if you just want quick content, is just make sure that their photos are of high quality. Make sure that their timeline is very structured. Look at this girl. I mean, someone obviously is with her all the time, taking these photos with her every single time, except for this middle one. So someone who puts effort in like that, if she's wearing your dress or whatever she's wearing, pants, or I don't even know what you call some of this stuff, but your skirt, if you're a fashion designer, etc. Right? So that's B2C, and if you're, I've been looking at people, certain accounts, they post funny stuff randomly. I mean, I don't recommend it, but something that I want to cover is basically most content that you find on social media comes from reddit.com. And there's different subreddits is what they call them, sections, if you're familiar or not familiar. So people also say that Reddit actually gets their content from 4chan. It's kind of like a funnel. So stuff gets thrown on 4chan, then it goes to Reddit, and then it goes to like Instagram, and then it goes on Facebook, and then your grandmother shares it for like the 10th time. So some of the more popular subreddits, you can just go to these URLs, pics, funny, and then videos. So you got like funny pictures, just pictures will just have some fascinating stuff, and of all sorts of kind of things. Excuse me. And videos will just have, of course, YouTube links and etc. So there's all sorts of other subreddits based on your niche. So certainly check it out. If you're in, the automobile industry, you can certainly find truck videos or car videos, that kind of stuff to share. And I mean, that's what everybody does. It's so crazy, but it's crazy because all these meme pages on Instagram lately rely off of Reddit, and like their 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million followers don't realize the content is like it's already out. It's just reposting from Reddit. It's kind of crazy. But anyways, okay. So as I said, yeah, that's where like everything you see on Facebook was on Reddit last week. So now, more content ideas, of course, reverse engineering others. This is like the third time I've explained this. So look at your competitors, look at the Explore tab. When looking at your competitors, you can get things like, content ideas specifically on what they're actually posting. If you're not sure even on the frequency that you should be posting, you can kind of see what they're running and then base your tests around what they are already doing. I mean, it depends on how experienced and how good your competitors are. I mean, if you're leading the industry, I guess you're really not going to base your studies off them. But if you're a small-time clothing brand and you're up against Ralph Lauren, I mean, you can definitely learn from them. So style, etc. I mean, you can learn all sorts of stuff. So that's it for this video. Let's get on to the next video.